Hi, this is Jim Mann with Homestyle Southern Cooking. Thanks for letting me come back in today. I have a friend here, Paula, in Mexico, that she is from New York, and I actually sold Paula a house. I have a real estate company here also, and we're really good friends. So a lot of times we get together for coffee, and we talk about the differences that we had growing up, me in the South and her in New York. But last night we were talking about it, and we hit on one common goal, that we both love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And when I was growing up, beginning of the school year, everybody got a new lunch box and a thermos bottle, and I would beg my mom to fix peanut butter sandwiches every day. And she said, well, I'm gonna fix cheese or bologna and ham. I said, no. So she'd fix it, so I'd find somebody to have a peanut butter sandwich, and I'd switch out with them. So she finally got to the point and realized that's what I wanted. So to this day, I still love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and ever so often, I just have to go get some bread and make one. So in saying that, today we're going to make peanut butter and jelly muffins, okay? Just because I love peanut butter and jelly. So that's what we're going to make today. So I'm going to start off. I've got my blender here, and I've got 1 cup of applesauce. I'm going to put my cup of applesauce in there, okay? Now to that, I'm going to put a half a cup of peanut butter. Remember I told you always spray your containers you can put your peanut butter or honey or molasses in, because it comes out so much easier when you do that. And you can see I've never used this. So I'm going to take my peanut butter and I'm going to fill it till I get a half a cup. Push it down in there. Make sure I've got about a half a cup here. That's pretty much, maybe a little bit more on the top here. Okay, now see, I'll take my spoon. That falls just right out, except for around the edges, okay? So it helps to get all the peanut butter out. So now I'm gonna set the peanut butter aside, and I'll set my spray aside. Next, I've got 2 eggs I'm gonna put in here. I think. There's 1, and here's the second one. I just got these from the hens this morning, so they're fresh eggs. So this doesn't want to come out of the shell. Okay, and talking about shell, I got a piece of shell in there. Okay, next I've got some pure maple syrup. I'm going to take the maple syrup, and I'm going to put, I've got 1/4 a cup here. So I'm going to put 1/4 a cup of maple syrup. Now, if you don't have pure maple syrup, you can, I'm sure you can use one of the brands that you know that you use for pancakes and waffles in the morning. That would work just as well also. But if you can find pure maple syrup, it's really good to have in your kitchen. To that, I'm going to also add, I've got 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of vanilla in here. Okay, that's my teaspoon of vanilla. And I can set that aside. I'm going to put this on now and let this blend real slowly for a few seconds. This way I get my eggs all mixed up and applesauce and everything all mixed up. Okay, while that's mixing up, I've got 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. To that 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, I'm going to go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Add that, set that aside, and I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt. I always have a hard time getting this thing open. Okay, now I've got my sea salt in there. And I might want to just stir this up just a little bit. I don't have to, but I'm going to. All right, now I'm going to stop my blender. And I'm going to take my flour and add my flour a little bit at a time. I'm going to add about 1/2 of it. Put it back in here. Turn it on real slow. Let that mix up. All right, now turn it off again. And I'll put the last bit in there, and while the last bit is mixing, I'm going to go get a little spatula to scrape down the sides. I'll be right back. Okay. Boy, I tell you, this maple syrup and the peanut butter together, I just tell y'all, I wish that y'all could be in the kitchen sometime and smell this. Just the smell sometimes is enough to drive you crazy. But I want to scrape this down and make sure I don't have any flour on the bottom, and I don't. So I go ahead and take this off. And I can set this all aside. I can go ahead and take this off. I can put my in the back. I'm going to scrape this down all on the sides here and get it all scraped down. Okay. Now what I did is I took a muffin tin, a 12 container muffin tin, and I actually sprayed each one a little bit in the middle, okay? Not a whole lot, because I feel with sometimes the jelly runs out of this and it might stick to the paper. This way it'll just be easier to get out. So I'm going to take just a scoop, and I'm going to start filling these, but I'm going to only fill them halfway. So I'm going to put like one scoop right there. Another scoop right there. Another scoop right there. Boy, that smells so good. And I know these won't be around long because the way I love peanut butter, and I can take these up. And the good thing about these too, these will last for at least a week in your refrigerator just like they are. But if you put them up to the in your freezer, they'll last several months in the freezer. So if you made these up and you make too many of them, or if you wanted to save them for a lunch or something, you could just put one in a Ziploc bag, put it up in your freezer, pack it in the morning for lunch. By the time lunchtime got there, it would be thawed out, and you'd be good to go. Okay, now I've got my little tiny scoop here, and I got my Welch's grape jelly. It could be any kind of grape jelly. We can't get Welch's down here. Once again, my specialty shop is called Imagination. Got this for me, and I really appreciate it. So, because I love Welch's grape jelly. I'm going to put just a tiny dab of grape jelly right in the middle of each one of these. Some may get a little bit more than the others, but that's okay. Let's see, I want to move that. Try to keep it in the middle if you can, because that way it won't ooze out as much on the side. But sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. I don't know about you, but like, I remember that's my oven going off. My oven's set at 350, by the way, and these are going to bake for about 25 to 27 minutes. I'll let you know when they come out. But I used to love to take my lunch and my lunch box every year. Couldn't wait to get my new lunch box until I started high school, and Paul and I agreed on one thing, and that must be worldwide or United States wide. When they had spaghetti day, everybody wanted spaghetti. We were teasing, if somebody had that recipe and opened a restaurant with the school of spaghetti, they could make a fortune. So then we'll take a little bit of my mixture and lightly put over top of my jelly. Let me get this done and I'll come back to you. Okay, I've got them all in my pan, and I ran a little bit short on one of them. I might have put too much in the bottoms, but I'm going to put this in the oven now for about, like I said, 25 to 27 minutes, and I'll be back to you with our peanut butter and jelly muffins. Okay, my timer just went off. The muffins were actually in the oven for 27 minutes. And boy, it is hot. And I will get them out. And you can tell it's hot when I get them out because the jelly is bubbling up on them. Ooh, it's hot. But you can see the jelly bubbling up in here. So I'm gonna have to let these cool for a little while before they're ready to eat. But I wanted to share something else with you. You know, I have a tiny house, I call it the coop, where I have my chickens and everything. Well, we have mangoes like crazy in the spring of the year. But this time of year, we started getting avocados. And our avocados are so much different than your avocados. Look at the size of this one. It takes up my whole hand. And the ones you get in the States, you know, are tiny ones. These are called butter avocados because when you cut these, they're almost like the color of a butter, and the flavor, they're so soft and so smooth, and it tastes buttery. So we're getting tons of them. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking these and wrapping them in newspaper until they're good and ripe. And I'll be doing a lot of avocado eating. So I wish I could send you some, but I just wanted to share that with you. Let me get the muffins nice and cool, and we'll come back and we'll try one of them. Okay, welcome back. Our peanut butter and jelly muffins have been cooling, and we'll try one right now. So I've got these. Remember, I sprayed the paper a little bit because I was afraid the jelly would come out and stick. Okay. And that jelly, some of the jelly is coming out. All right, first of all, let me take a bite into it and share what it's going to look like. Look at there. Look at your jelly in there. Wow, these are really tasty. If you like peanut butter and jelly. Now, I like grape jelly. A lot of people like strawberry jelly, or you could put any type of jelly in there you wanted there, but I just use peanut butter and grape jelly. This is a wonderful fall little treat to have for the kids or for the family, or if you're going somewhere, take somebody that'll be really surprised to find out that you brought peanut butter and jelly muffins of all things. Thanks so much for letting me come back in and your support on YouTube and on Facebook. If you haven't found me on Facebook, look me up and subscribe to me. Till next time, thank you so much for letting me come into your home and spend time with you. I love spending part of my day with you. I know you're there watching, and I can feel your presence. Till next time, this is Jim in Mexico saying take care of yourself. I send you a great big hug today and say God bless you all.